one of those things that can get outrageously expensive really quickly, and sometimes without your knowledge, because if you don't read the whole exhibitor service kit and all that kind of stuff, they can really get you. In fact, there was one time when I was exhibiting for a conference, and this was when I was in sales before I was actually doing the coordinating of the trade shows. And I showed up there, and our boxes had been shipped directly to the site, which is what we normally do, rather than going through the drayage company. We shipped directly to the site, and the drayage company actually intercepted those packages and held them hostage, basically, until I paid on site all of the material handling fees. Then I had to pay an extra fee because we hadn't coordinated it with them ahead of time, and it was outrageous. So obviously we made a note on that conference that for future years, we need to make sure we go through the drayage company so that that doesn't happen again. Sometimes you only have shipping your materials through the drayage company as an option. That's your only option. But it is worth your time to do the research and make good notes for the future years on whether you have the option to ship to a business center on site or ship to the hotel directly, and call the hotel ahead of time and ask those questions. I'm attending a conference. Can I ship my boxes to you? When do you need them by? How should I label them? Do I ship them to the front desk or to the business center? And then follow up and find out what the fees are so that you're not surprised when you get there. It may turn out that the fees to ship to the hotel or business center directly are almost in line with what the drayage fees are, and so you could do either one, but sometimes it's a huge cost saving. If you ship individual boxes, 6 or 7 boxes together, that's called special packaging because the driver has to handle each box individually, which can be a little bit more expensive. Usually there's a fee for that, but even still, sometimes it's cheaper than going through the drayage company. But if those fees tend to get outrageous for those individual boxes, then consider shipping in a crate or on a pallet, all shrink wrapped together. If you have enough stuff that you need to send, a crate and a pallet will save you those extra fees. And you'll want to weigh this as you grow and as you need more things at your booth. If you're just doing a single 10 by 10 tabletop booth and you don't have a whole lot of product that you need to display, then shipping special packaging is probably not going to be a big deal for you. But if you have an island booth where it's, 20 by 20 or even larger, and you've got all these other things going, then definitely you should look into a crate.
But I think one of the things that I run into, because we all get really busy, is time. Obviously, each show you have a deadline of when you have to get the packages there, and a lot of times they want it, within a specific window. With shipping, I certainly do not work at UPS or any packaging logistics company where I understand exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to ship something from Illinois to Florida, how long it's going to take me to ship something from Illinois to Illinois. It can be really tricky in terms of the timing. So in your experience, how much time do you have to plan to figure out the best strategy for each meeting?
That's a good question. Okay, so it's going to depend on, first of all, who your carrier is, who your normal package carrier is, if it's UPS or FedEx. I've always used UPS in the past, and you can actually download from their website a handy map. It's color-coded. It shows where your point of origin is, that would be your warehouse, and where you're shipping. And it says this is going to be 3 days ground or 5 days ground, or what the cutoff days are for overnight. You always want to try to ship ground if possible because it's the least expensive. Sometimes you're up against it and you have to overnight some things, but definitely shoot for ground. And also, I've always utilized a checklist where as soon as I sign up for a conference, I look and see what date is the show, what date is the setup, when do my packages need to be there by, and then figure out if it's going to take 5 days for my packages to get there, when do I need to ship them by, factoring in weekends and holidays and everything. And I put those dates in my calendar already so that I know I need to ship these items on January 5th. That means I need to prepare them on December 30th or something so that they're ready to go for UPS to pick them up and ship them. Then I make sure that every day I'm checking the tracking to make sure it's en route to its destination and it's going to make it there by the time I need it to get there.
This brings up another interesting point in terms of timing and planning, because you're shipping materials that maybe you've had these materials for a long time, maybe you've had the same fabric display or a large backdrop for months and months, or maybe even a couple of years and you haven't replaced it. Sometimes the marketing team is creating new materials, and I've worked on these teams. I've been default at sometimes on these teams where I look at the trade show date and I think, I have so much time to get this done and printed. Not going to be a problem. It's going to get to the show on time. And then I speak to the person like you that is needing to ship all of these materials, understand what is being shipped, and I have no answers because I'm not done with my end of the bargain. So how have you worked with other parts of a company team in terms of just the marketing portion and making sure that all the collateral and all the exhibit materials are done on time so that you can do your portion well?
Right. So it starts from planning. I encourage the use of a checklist and a timeline so you can see what needs to be done. So if you know, and I've always done it, like if the conference, I rate them level A, B, or C. Level A is big conference, lots of things need to go. That's package A. So package A's contents are tablecloths, backdrops, literature racks, all those kinds of things. So then I need to see, do I have all of those things that I need in good working order? And this is at the very beginning when you first are looking at attending this conference. Do I have all of these components in good working order, or do they need to be updated? If they need to be updated, then that takes priority, and I'll work with the marketing team to make sure, and I will tell them very clearly, I need these done and here in my warehouse by XYZ date. And I'll cushion it, with a week or two so that we've got a little bit of working time if something bad happens. But the key is communication and planning in advance. You cannot wait until the last minute when you're supposed to be shipping things to make sure that your literature racks are working. And especially those acrylic literature racks, they are constantly coming back from conferences broken. So you have to examine everything way in advance and make sure that you make plans for that to be fixed if it needs to be fixed.